Hey everybody, welcome back to Taste of Victory. Today we got the second place profile for the European Evo Cup that took place the weekend of September 19th. It was 436 people, 9 rounds, and we got PsychoFeather, the man who can do it all, an amazing head judge, and second place at a huge stack tournament. PsychoFeather, you want to introduce yourself and then help us go over your deck?
Hi everybody, I'm Alex, but most people know me as Psycho. I came second, and I played or piloted LordKnightmon with Mastemon. So starting from the eggs, I was just running 4 Pickmon, pretty standard, and then 1 Upamon. I know a lot of people run the 1 Kotemon instead, but I think that the draw power helps quite a bit since yellow kind of lacks the draw power. But that can obviously be Kotemon if you prefer that instead. As for the rookies, I think my lineup is a little bit weird from what you usually see. I run 3 starter deck Patamons that gains 1 memory when something gets deleted. Most people wouldn't call that a good card in LordKnightmon and would rather run Pulsemon, but I found that getting the 1 memory from playing Knightmon when you have LordKnightmon out to earn the TK, and then going to Mastemon 1 week, a couple of games. So I don't think that I would cut Patamon for the Pulsemons. I was running the 4 standard Starmons and then 2 Bushis. I think that Bushi didn't really come up a lot. It might have just been my matchups, but most of the time it was just a rookie that I evolved into in the breeding area. 2 Kotemons. I feel like this is also a place where I could have cut them for the Pulsemons, but as I'm from Europe, we don't really have access to Pulsemons unless we import them, so I had to make do with what I have. So I think that 2 Kotemons was pretty good, was able to search me. It drew me 2 cards sometimes, but most of the time it was just a miss, and it was just a rookie that I hard played for 3. I was expecting quite a lot of green, so I was playing 2 Cutemon, but unfortunately I didn't run into a single green except for in the final match, which I unfortunately lost, where I don't think Cutemon would have done that much. I didn't feel like it stopped anything. And then 1 Lucemon and 1 Patamon promo. I feel like the Patamon promo is a little bit better than Lucemon, but I only had 1 of each. I thought I was going to play 2 of them, or 1 of each. They do kind of the same thing. They stop you from dying, and they usually go off at the same time when you're usually at 0 security anyways. The only upside to Patamon is that you're able to evolve into it, and you don't really fear having Patamon early because you can just evolve it and then don't think about it anymore, while Lucemon is just a brick in the early game. As for my level 4s, I was running what I would consider kind of standard 4 Turuiemon, 4 Piddo. Just cheap to evolve, get into your LordKnightmon faster. And then I was running 2 Unimons. The 6k helps to get around the Chaosmon matchup, but also playing around Nidhogg and other, like the mirror matchup, where in the mirror your Piddomon dies to LordKnightmon playing Knightmon into Pickmon. As to Unimon, you need usually Starmon and Knightmon to delete it, so it helps quite a bit. No Gautamon promo, mainly because I don't actually have or own them, so I had to make do with what I had, so only 10 champions. I actually break quite a bit by having too many champions, even though 10 champions is the lower number, or the lower end of the number, so that's pretty interesting. As for ultimates, I was just running what I would consider the standard 4 Knightmon, 3 WarGrowlmon, 2 Angewomon. I could see myself playing 4 Knightmon and 4 WarGrowlmon instead, and the Angewomon might just be cut completely. But I found that being able to play 2 things of LordKnightmon came up quite a bit and just helped me win games where I could play both Starmon and Knightmon from 1 swing. And then the star of the show is the Mastemon. It helped me win so many matchups and also games where the people weren't expecting me to play Mastemon, they were expecting the standard Slash. And then I gained a memory from Patamon. I gained a memory, could go into Mastemon, kill their or trash their last security, and just win the game from there. And then 2 Slash. I think that when people see 2 Slash and haven't seen that defeat or Mastemon, they just expect me to play the standard Lord Knight, and then the Mastemon shows up. So even though I run 8 Megas, I still felt like it was fine and I didn't break with Megas that much. And I guess a reason for that was because I played 3 TKs, I could just search out anything. I know a lot of people prefer playing 3 Blinding and 2 TKs, but due to the ratios I'm running in my deck, I feel like I needed 2Ks. Blinding is always just a good card, so I try to include at least 2 of them. And then 2 defeats and 1 Valdur arm. Valdur is good in the mirror, but it also just doesn't do a whole lot usually. You usually have enough minus DP reduction from SlashAngemon and Starmon that it feels like Valdur is just excessive. So I ran 2 defeats instead, and obviously that's just RNG if it ends up in security, but I had the luck that it ended up in security quite a bit, and just won some games because people swung into security. First check was defeat, and then they couldn't really deal with it. Right. But I think that the biggest change I would make to the deck would be cut 1 Slash and just increase the level 4s by 1. Probably another Unimon, or the Kotemon if I had one.
Nice, interesting. Yes, those 6Ks are really underrated right now, just because they cost that 1 extra to Digivolve into. A lot of people write them off. Yeah. Interesting.
Sure. And they're also easier to hard play since they only cost 5 to hard play.
Yeah, that makes a difference. As you were saying, you were bricking a lot on your level 4s for some reason, so that definitely would have been helpful. I could see that. Yeah. Cool. That's a very interesting list. You don't see a Mastemon as a backup mega for Lord Knight a lot, so it's cool to see that helped you out by discarding the extra security for lethal. So, would you mind walking us through the matches as well? Like, what did you face? What was the hardest? What was the easiest?
So I feel like my deck was meant to be good against the mirror and also security control, which I was expecting to face quite a bit.
Yeah.
Since the rise of popularity in the US tournaments, which I judged the days prior, I saw a lot of security control and a lot of LordKnightmon. So I was just preparing for those matchups. And in the first matchup, I went against security control and just outright won it because Mastemon trashing 2 security in the games. And then just winning from there, being able to swarm the board with LordKnightmon and then Mastemon to finish the game off. I then went up into a mirror, I believe. No, I went up against purple in round 2. He hard break game 2, so I just took that game. As for round 3, I went up into the LordKnightmon mirror, which to me is one of the matchups I'm the best comfortable at. So I think I won that 2-0. Nothing really special. And I went up into my first black. I knew that black was something that probably gonna gain popularity due to its toppings. Yeah. But I didn't expect to, and I don't see why it was so hard for LordKnightmon players to win versus it, to be honest. Maybe the people I played against wasn't piloting the deck correctly or something, but I didn't feel like black was that big of an issue. Obviously, them getting up defeats and then not being able to deal with defeats without them killing one of your dudes is problematic, but if you're able to deal with their threats before they become defeats, you're usually pretty good. And then for the entire tournament, I just went against LordKnightmon, black, LordKnightmon and black, basically.
Yeah.
And I just kept on winning those pretty easily. I faced one Lilith loop in round 7, which I thought I could play more controlly against, but I noticed in game 2 where they just set up the board. That was the first time I played versus Lilith loop ever, and noticed what the deck could do, and it was kind of scary. So we went to game 3 and almost overtime, but I was able to snag out the win. And then, unfortunately, in the finals, I faced my first green, which I knew was going to be the matchup that I struggled the most with, because I have no idea how to play versus green, especially with yellow. And unfortunately, I got kind of baited by his deck. So I didn't really realize what mega lineup he was running until it was too late, because I saw both Grand Quagamon, Raffleishimon, and Herc, along with Promo Palmon and Mega Kabucharimon, which made me think that maybe he's not running Nidhogg, which seems ridiculous. Yeah. But in my head during the game, it was just like, wait, maybe he's just not running Nidhogg because people are just gonna play around Nidhogg, and then there's no reason to play the card. And he had so much support for his other Megas, so I was like, no, maybe he's not even running it. And then 3 Nidhoggs comes down in game 2 when they just couldn't recover from that.
Oh man, that's crazy.
But he was a really chill dude, and I'm glad that he won everything.
That's awesome. Yeah, at least you didn't have to see the matchup you're worried about until the finals. So that's cool. You had to dodge it. So I know you said you teched in Cutemon for it, and you also mentioned it didn't actually come up too much. Is after facing that in finals, is there a further change you would make to tech against the green matchup, or do you think this is the peak for yellow?
I just think that green is one of the matchups where yellow just struggles. If you are not able to set up a big enough board early, I feel like green just like runs you over. And the problem with yellow, or the problem with green, is that you have a hard time. Like if you clear your whole board, then they just build up the next turn. While if you're playing against another color, you usually need 2 turns to recover. So it's really hard, in my opinion, for yellow to kill their big dude and then still be in the lead, because next turn you have to fear that they go into Nidhogg for basically 1 memory by going champion and then downloading into the level 5 and then just going into Nidhogg. So I always feel like I can't really get that much of an advantage versus green. I guess that's where Cutemons come in, but most of the time they're just able to deal with Cutemon because they just have an easy time spamming the board with small dudes and then just needle spraying the Cutemon, and then Cutemon is away from the field, and then you can still just go into Nidhogg.
But it's really cool list otherwise here, because it seems like you got an answer to everything else, and it's just like hoping you don't see that one matchup, which is pretty possible, to avoid your tough ones. So that's really cool. Thank you so much for sharing all that with us, Alex. This is a really cool list, because you don't really see Mastemon with it a lot. It looks like you really planned it out, using that knowledge from being a judge to scope out the meta. I like that a lot. Cool. Well, congratulations again on your 2nd place finish at this absolutely stacked tournament, getting that so rare, elusive, like $5,000 Omnimon. Congratulations on that. If there's any closing thoughts or shoutouts you want to give, please feel free to now.
I would just want to give a shout out to Cubia for being an amazing judge and someone that I really hope that is gonna like flourish in this community. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Alex. I hope you had enjoyed your time like giving us this profile. I really appreciate you guys coming on and taking that time to do it. And yeah, that was an awesome profile. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time. That'll be the video for this one. And until the next one, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.